It's our pleasure to share with you again the Zero Garbage Lekunze family garden. What are the characteristics of this special garden? What makes the garden so unique, so different? The Lekunze kids grow their own food. They cook their own traditional meals. They use mostly traditional implements and eat in a traditional way.
Alright, this is what I'm talking about. Notice how this zero garbage kid is preparing her spices to cook her meal. Some of you might laugh at this and say, back in the days, old fashioned. Well, I take it that way. It might be old fashioned to you, but to me, with my mindset, it is an asset. This is my tradition. I want my tradition to live in my children. I have traveled millions of miles away from my homeland in West Africa, Bamumbu, located in Wabane. This is how I grew up grinding my spices. In the future, this tradition might totally die down. My children might never even know anything about this because they are going to grow up in this exotic land and might never even be attached to their own tradition. I am doing this so that my children would continue to uphold my tradition from their generations to generations, and this tradition will continue to live. Also notice that the civilization you are telling me about that makes you to start using blenders and doing everything, all right? That very civilization comes with a price. You notice the way she was grinding, how she stooped down, how she was working out her muscles, her back muscles, and her shoulder muscles. Those are some of the things that keep us healthy back in the days. Today, people are talking about arthritis. People have become so immobile. They have, I can say they have embraced that civilization to their own disadvantage. I'm not saying do not embrace civilization. I am just saying maintain a balance. Go with the modern ways of doing things, but also balance it with your traditional ways of doing those things. Now, notice that this child is eating traditionally. This very soup she's cooking and that spice she was grinding is known to have medicinal values. Back in the days also, people hardly get sick. Why? Because of these spices that they are eating. Natural resources from the forest. Very soon you are going to see my kids eating achu soup. Most of this African meal is prepared with spices from the natural rainforest. They are rich in medicinal content. Those spices used in preparing this soup that this teenager was grinding. See, she's enjoying her meal. See, a lot of our kids will tell you, all I want is hamburger. All I want is French fries. And you'll be rushing to get it for them. This is the zero garbage kid. That is how they eat. She's eating fufu and okra soup. And that okra soup is prepared with palm oil and natural spices that you saw her grinding from the rainforest in my village in Wabane subdivision. Okay? This kid, see how much she's enjoying her meal. Tell me that your kids do not want to eat African food because you did not give them an early start. They know nothing else than eating this African food that I have presented to them. That is what is available in my house. That is what they are going to eat. She takes her time and cook it the way in which I've taught her to cook. That way she's exercising herself. Look at the other younger kids. There they are. She has presented some of the food to her younger sister. That is okra soup she's eating. Look at it. It is hearty, a mix of okra and vegetables. And they are complementing it with fufu. That is the bigger brother of the little girl. He has come. You will see how he's enjoying his meal. Tell me that your kids don't eat African food, and I will tell you it is your fault. You did not give them an early start. Okay? You did not give them an early start because you are rushing to work, because you have 3 jobs to do. You just rush to McDonald's, you rush to Wendy's, and you get all that junk for your kids. You rush to Chinese store and get French fries and chicken wings for your kids. The oil that they are using to fry those chicken that you are buying for your kids, you don't know how long they have been using that same oil. That oil, that very grease in that French fries you are presenting your kids and those chicken wings. Those are the reasons. Those are what is going to cause cholesterol for your children, because they keep using them over and over and over and over and never changing them. You see that big pot when you go to the Chinese store. You see the very big pot in which they are frying the chickens and the French fries. Do you think they ever change that oil? That oil just keep being there. They're interested in getting their money, okay? The oil in that big pot you see in the Chinese store where they take French fries and present to you continue to be there, and they continue to use them for months or years even. They just keep adding onto them. Prepare your own food. How long does it take? Cut down on your hours. What are you working too much for? Will you take any of those things the day you die?
Yes,
your kids need you. Your kids need to eat healthy. Look at this healthy meal. That is okra mixed with rich vegetables from their own garden in the backyard. It's harvested fresh. It's not been in any refrigerator. The quality is just still very okay. Alright? Talking about recycling. This little kid is going to tell you about recycling. That is daddy. Getting water. Look at where he's getting the water. That has been filtered water. A lot of us go to the stores and buy large bags of water and bring them home. Do you know that a lot of those bottles you are buying end up in the landfills, burdening our environment and making this very environment uncomfortable for these children in the future? We want to be careful what future we are living for our children. We do not want to mess up their environment for them. We are enjoying that environment today, and we don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow. We have to start being careful about what we are placing in the environment. This little kid is soon going to talk to you about recycling. The reason they are using this water from their own filtered source is to cut down on the amount of water bottles that they are bringing into the home, which will end up being disposed and taken to the landfills. They accumulate in the landfills and start releasing all kinds of toxic chemicals that will return to your very water supply, because all those chemicals are going into the ground. The water we drink is processed in the ground. It's a cycle. It's going to go round and return to your very concept in your kitchen. Okay? Notice that this child is now eating achu soup. This is a meal from another day. This achu is also called yellow soup. This achu soup these children are eating right now is prepared again, as I told you, with some rich blend of spices from the rainforest in Africa. I'm just going to pause a little so you can listen to this kid without my interference. And then I'll continue from there.
Make sure when you buy this, make sure the lid is a little off so it can get air. Here.
So all this is done for recycling.
The kid is explaining to you why he has to use filtered water from his own tap in the kitchen. This one container right here, the kid is showing you, they can keep using it for years without having the need to change it or to dispose it to the environment. So all they do is to take this once it is used up to the kitchen and fill it up through their filters. That way you don't have to keep buying bottles upon bottles of water. Those bottles of water that you buy from the store, from Walmart, from Walgreens, from all those places, it's good. The water in it is what you want to drink, right? They are filtered.
What is that called?
But after you drink that water, where does the bottle go? You dispose those bottles to the environment. You keep them outside for garbage collectors to pick up. That's not the end of it. Did you ever stop and wonder where the garbage collectors are taking those bottles to? The landfills. Like my husband said, those landfills look like a Holocaust. It is really, really bad Okay,
Gina.
the landfills are so saturated that all the
So she loves eating
chemicals
peppers.
from all those waste disposal is going back into the ground,
Gina wants you to
circling
come and eat with
around
her.
and returning to us,
Go sit down.
affecting our
Sit down
health
there.
when we drink that water from our
Sit on
tap.
that chair. There's a chair over
Lots
there,
of
Dickie.
time you hear people will say the tap water is contaminated. Stop drinking your tap water. Stop using your tap water. What do you think? You are
So she
responsible
enjoys
for
her
that.
pepper, but she also
Again, let's go
enjoys
back. Look at these kids enjoying
some
this
African
African food.
food.
You
This is
say
the
your kids
African
don't
food
want to
called
eat
achu.
healthy, you have to give them an early start.
It's called
You
yellow
say your
soup
kids do
or
not
achu.
respect your culture,
They love
did
eating
you
that also.
introduce them into that
So,
culture? Did you
blending
serve
it
a
with
soup to them?
peppers and
This
greens
kid knows exactly what he's eating.
whenever they have it
He's been used to eating this achu
provides a rich
so much that
nourishment
sometimes when it's not available
to
in the
support their bodies.
refrigerator, he will tell me,
You can see
Mommy,
how
I
they're
want to
enjoying
eat
the
yellow
African
soup.
food. That's African
Mommy,
food. That's
I
pure
crave
African
achu
food.
soup. I look up and I'm proud to be a mom for this kid because this kid is upholding a culture of his own
See
origin.
how much they're
That
enjoying
is
their
where I
food.
originate. That is what I grew up eating.
They have this
Why should I detach my
drinks
kids
they
from
call it
that?
as snack.
Huh? Why should I
That is
detach
their
my
own
kids from
dessert.
that? Today I'm composed
A heavy
and
meal.
well behaved.
That is what they take
I'm
as
able
dessert.
to manage my life
Yeah, why not?
because of the background that was
That
given
is
me
more
when
or
I was
less
growing
like
up. Some of this food,
a
I've told
dessert
you,
for them.
is rich in medicinal value from the spices that they are prepared
Enjoy your
with.
meal.
Okay? Some of our
Enjoy
kids
your
are
meal.
obese. You do not know why they
Enjoy
are
your
obese.
achu.
When we were growing up, our parents knew the medicinal value of all these spices. They would tell us, you don't have to worry. Eat this food I'm presenting to you.
Gina.
The medicinal value in this very food will flush all the toxins off your system. Achu spices have been known to be so medicinal that they will take this toxin off your system. Again, as I was saying, eating healthy. You want your children to eat the right stuff, the right things that will keep them the right sizes and not obese, that your doctor will start telling you you need to cut down on their meal. Present the right stuff to them. This kid is just 3 years old. She knows how to walk out of her house, go to the backyard, harvest her own green stuff, harvest her own vegetable, and start eating without anybody even telling her to eat it. She enjoys eating this vegetable more than anything else you can present her. That is a life that you want to start early for your children. At 3 years old, she's already enjoying this in this manner without you forcing her. Then you can be sure that when she grows up, she's not going to get detached from this early training that you have given her, from this early culture that you have built in her, from this tradition that you have introduced her to. All right? Parents, start thinking, and doing something fast for your children. It's never too late. Give them an early start in life for the kind of lifestyle you expect them to live. So the idea is to institute an early start in your children. What you train them to do is what they'll grow up doing. If you want your tradition to live on in your children, you have to start it right away. You have to instill it in a natural way. Seeing is doing. Children learn better watching than talking. Subscription and sharing is welcome. Please share this video. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Education made me leave my homeland, my homeland. Education made me leave my homeland, my homeland. Education made me leave my homeland. Oh, telephone, bamumbu dear. Education brought me into this land, USA. Education brought me into this land, USA. Education brought me into this land. Oh, telephone, my home, my dear. Telephone my mommy, telephone my dad, telephone my sister, telephone my brother, telephone my auntie, telephone my uncle. Oh, telephone, my home, my dear. Telephone my homeland, telephone my dear. Telephone my homeland, telephone my dear. Telephone my homeland, telephone my dear. Oh, telephone my home, my dear. dear.